Hello and welcome to WMLT News. I'm Courtney Vanatter.
And I'm Jared Klein. The remains of Beecher Hackney were recently discovered in Hot Springs, Virginia. Hackney was number 15 on the U.S. Marshal's Most Wanted list and was wanted for a double homicide in 2009. Hackney was employed as a janitor at the Hot Springs Homestead Resort and was believed to have shot and killed two of his former supervisors. A manhunt for Hackney was ongoing when two individuals stumbled upon the remains of a body in the woods about 8 miles from the Homestead Resort on September 3rd and reported their finding to the local sheriff's office. The Bath County Medical Examiner's Office and the Virginia Department of Forensic Science assisted in the identification of the remains using DNA analysis and samples from Hackney's family members. David Harlow, Assistant Director of the U.S. Marshal's Investigative Operations Division, was quoted as saying, "We would have preferred to bring him in alive to face justice, but are still content to bring this fugitive case to a close."
Social media comes to the rescue when the girlfriend of a St. Albans man posted on Facebook that she was being held against her will. Friends abruptly called the police. When police arrived at the home, they found a large group standing outside the home, saying they had heard a disturbance. When Stephen Adam Young, 19, talked with police, he said everything was fine. But when police entered the home, they found Buckner saying that her boyfriend had punched her in the face. Young was then arrested and charged with domestic battery. He is now free on bond. Concord University is trying to let students voice it. A program called Post Secret. As Bailey Gillespie reports, this is the second year that Bonner students have hosted this event.
Post Secret allows students to anonymously write their deepest secrets down and post them for the world to see. The idea is to try and let students express their issues and relieve some of their pain. This program hits close to home for Concord University Bonner students. Just last year, a fellow student decided to commit suicide.
I actually experienced suicide with one of our scholars. So that's where the program actually originated. It was more of an outreach for suicide awareness and also suicide prevention. And that's kind of why we, partnered and borrowed the idea from postsecret.com.
Bonner scholars hope they can give students the opportunity to create an outlet for classmates to express their emotions and provide hope for those who think there is no hope.
The majority of the campus takes it seriously, but then there's some people that don't take it seriously and write silly secrets, which is fine too, but I just think that the people that have the serious secrets, it does feel good to get it off of their chest, and I feel like it brings a sense of community to campus.
Postcards include subjects such as rape, eating disorders, and many more. These are anonymously written cards are giving students a voice. Organizers hope to keep the program growing year after year with the goal of more students getting involved. For WMLT News, I'm Bailey Gillespie in Athens.
While about 30% of West Virginia citizens are considered obese, numbers are expected to double if things don't change. Wes McKinney has more.
Recently, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention revealed statistics show that by the year 2030, 60% of West Virginians will be obese. As a parent of 3 kids between the ages of 2 and 8, Mercer County resident J.B. Hurt says those numbers are frightening. He says he encourages his family to eat healthy and exercise.
We try to be conscious about what they eat and try and be careful about limiting red meats and try and teach them to eat vegetables and have somewhat balanced diet.
With the grim news for West Virginia, many southern West Virginia counties are starting programs to prevent obesity. At Concord University, students are offered a variety of ways to stay fit and eat healthy. Health and nutrition professor Jill Nolan explains some ways to live a healthy lifestyle.
Obesity is caused, it's mainly energy balance. So you want to burn more calories than you're consuming. So you can tackle it 2 ways. One is to modify what you eat, and one is to increase your activity level.
Dr. Nolan says a healthy lifestyle can prevent other chronic diseases like diabetes and heart disease. For WMLT News, I'm Wes McKinney in Mercer County.
A new health incentive from WVU is taking aim at poor health in the southern part of West Virginia. The team, which is comprised of faculty and students from WVU schools of public health, dentistry, nursing, medicine, and pharmacy, will launch the multi-year effort to help southern residents of the state develop healthy lifestyles. The project will also work to train those who are interested in getting local health movements started. Michael McCauley, the interim chair of the Department of Environmental Health, is leading the project. The project made its debut at the Pineville Labor Day Fair. And now, here's Derek Klein with a report on voter registration taking place here at Concord University.
On November 6th, West Virginians will be headed to the polls to cast one of the most important votes in history. But in order to vote, Americans must be registered to take advantage of the right given to us by the Constitution. Michael Cork, a student at Concord University, talks about the importance of voting.
Typically, people our age don't really go out and vote. It's a very, very low percentage. And I think more people should do it because we're the future of this country. We're old enough to know what's going on and to make decisions. And once the older generations are gone, we have to be in the habit of actually doing and being responsible.
Last year, over 39,000 people were registered to vote in West Virginia, but about 13,000 of those eligible actually cast their vote. Pansy Richards, a Mercer County election official, was at Concord University to register voters last week.
Very few today, probably 4 or 5 actual from the Mercer County area. We gave out a few absentees for the students that are from another state that wants to vote or shows interest in voting. So we gave out probably 5 absentees so they can contact their state and get a ballot sent to them to vote.
Richard says throughout the registration process, she has seen a lot of voters change parties. She also says many voters have switched to independent to vote for their party of choice in the primary. So far this year, a little over 39,000 people are registered to vote in the state of West Virginia. But will those registered let their voice be heard?
If you don't vote, you're an idiot.
Only time will tell. For WMLT News, I'm Derek Klein.
Thanks, Derek. With more news from Concord, here's Dalton Paul with a Concord Minute.
Thanks, guys. A lot is happening on Concord University's campus this week, from intramurals to bookstore renovations. But we begin this week with some sad news. Concord University's former First Lady, Jean Dressler Beasley, passed away on September 19th. During the 23 years that she served as First Lady, Mrs. Beasley's involvement in the Athens community touched countless students. She graduated from Marshall University with a double major in English and Latin. She also obtained her JD at West Virginia University College of Law. In May of 2008, Mrs. Beasley received an honorary doctorate from Concord for her service and dedication to the university. She will be missed by many. In lighter news, many fraternities and sororities are preparing for Concord University's Homecoming Week, which starts Monday. The theme for this year's Concord University Homecoming is 1990s cartoons, and the wide variety of Greek organizations are preparing for the annual lip sync and parade. The parade is scheduled for Thursday, October 4th at 6 o'clock. In the homecoming game, Saturday, the Concord Mountain Lions will be taking on the Glenville State Pioneers. Kickoff is at 2 p.m. Concord students have noticed a lot of construction on campus this semester, including a crane silhouetting the campus' beautiful skyline. Recent projects include new sidewalks, a rock wall built behind the newly constructed gazebo, replacement of dying plants, and re-roofing of the library and certain portions of the Fine Arts Building. While some of the construction is part of the beautification project, other renovations are for students with disabilities. Finally, the recent painting of certain sorority floors in North Towers has caused some controversy. Many female students are voicing their opinions about having certain sorority murals being painted over during the summer. However, according to Bill Fraley, supervisor of Concord Residence Halls, the sorority members were notified of the upcoming painting a year in advance. Well, that wraps it up for this week's CU Minute. Back to you, Courtney and Jared.
Stay tuned. We'll return with the WMLT News in just a moment. Welcome back to WMLT News. Monday Night Football was disappointing for fans and players alike. The game between the Seattle Seahawks and the Green Bay Packers ended with a controversial call by the officials that many contend had a direct impact on the game and who the final winner was. Today, the Lingerie Football League released a statement saying that some of the replacement referees currently being used by the NFL had been previously fired by the Lingerie League due to several on-field instances of incompetent officiating. The LFL felt it was only fair to fans to comment on this in light of recent events, but didn't identify if the crew officiating Monday night's NFL game had been fired from the LFL.
And now, here's Scott Noble with a story from Princeton, West Virginia.
Participants gathered at Princeton Town Square on a sunny Saturday morning to walk in support of those recovering from substance abuse. Many were there to show their support for friends and loved ones in recovery.
Well, I'm here for everyone. I'm here for my friends, family, the ones who are trying to recover, the ones who have had trouble recovering, the ones that need help and want help. We're here just to support everyone that wants a new start for themselves and others.
Policymakers and law enforcement officials say substance abuse has reached epidemic proportions statewide. Greg Puckett, Executive Director of Community Connections, says the event is not just about recovery.
Yeah, you know, the best part about a recovery walk is that it gets people together and it talks about the issues. And I think people have to understand that, you know, prevention does work, treatment is available, and recovery does happen. And I think that's one of the messages that we want to convey, is that everybody's out here working together to make sure that we work to try to get the best possible solution for people that really, truly need it.
About 80 people walked the course on Mercer Street, an area with a bad reputation for drugs and prostitution. Participants then released balloons in a show of solidarity for those in recovery. Mercer Street business owner Melissa McKinney and her daughter Kayla entertained the crowd with live music. Puckett hopes activities like these will reassure drug addicts that overcoming mental and/or substance abuse is worth the fight. I'm Scott Noble, reporting for WMLT.
The iPhone 5 was released on Friday the 21st. The number of pre-ordered phones has not yet been released by Apple, but in stores they sold over 5 million in the first week. The shipping date for pre-ordered phones has been pushed back about 2 weeks by phone companies. The new iPhone is the lightest and thinnest iPhone ever. It also has a 4-inch Retina display, a better battery life, and it's twice as fast. But the phone still brings about complaints, from Syria's worse than the local weatherman mixing up obvious cities to complaints about the paint chipping.
In other news, Concord's Geography Department received a first-hand look at early Indian cultures last week. On September 20th and 21st, Dr. Joe Manzu's Native American History class took a tour of the Cherokee Indian Village in Cherokee Village, North Carolina. The members of the village demonstrated for the students how they wove cloth from materials they received from early white settlers. Concord students were also given the opportunity to see some of their traditional dances, which have been taught for generations by the Cherokee tribe. Students enjoyed the field trip and looked forward to other field trips in the future. This has been WMLT News from Concord University.
Tune in again in 2 weeks.